When the pregnant girl whispered he said won't hurt, the bikers froze in tears in the dim glow of an early evening sky, just as the sun was slipping behind the crooked rooftops of the abandoned factory district. The rumble of motorcycle engines shattered the quiet, like thunder rolling through an empty valley. The gang, known around town for their cold hearts and colder intentions, surrounded a lone figure stumbling along the dirt road. It wasn't until she lifted her face, pale and streaked with tears, that they realized she was just a girl, a pregnant girl, clutching her belly as though holding herself together. And when she looked up at them with trembling lips and whispered, "He said it won't hurt," something inside those hardened bikers cracked wide open, freezing them in their tracks as if time itself had stopped. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of humanity, please like, comment, share, and subscribe right now. It truly helps keep stories like this alive. The girl's name was Liana, barely 19, exhausted and carrying more pain than any heart should bear. Her clothes were torn from the struggle she had escaped, her steps uneven as she walked through the dust. She had left the house only minutes earlier, but every second had felt like an hour stretching into forever. Behind her were memories that burned, a boyfriend who once promised her the world but slowly tightened that world around her like a fist. "It won't hurt," he always said whenever she flinched, words that became daggers over time, slicing deeper into her trust, her hope, her sense of self. When she learned she was pregnant, she thought it might soften him. Instead, it made him crueler. The bikers, rough and intimidating under the evening sky, weren't the saviors anyone expected. Their jackets were patched, their faces marked with scars from old battles, and their reputation, for the most part, was something the town whispered about but dared not confront. Yet as they stood there, staring at the trembling girl, something unspoken passed among them, a silent understanding. They saw fear, yes, but also something else, something that reminded them of their own pasts, the people they couldn't save, the mistakes they couldn't undo, the innocence they once destroyed or lost. Their leader, a man known as Ridge, stepped closer. He had lived a life of violence, anger, and regrets, so heavy they bent his shoulders even when he stood tall. The sight of Liana, barefoot, trembling, pregnant, pleading without words, hit him like a blow to the chest. He recognized the quiet desperation of someone who had been betrayed by the very person meant to protect them. It was a mirror he hadn't expected to face that evening. Liana tried to move past them, whispering apologies as though she had done something wrong by existing. Her breathing was sharp, her steps shaky, and she kept pressing her hand against her ribs as if soothing a lingering bruise. Ridge gently stopped her, not with force, but with a presence that didn't threaten. The rest of the bikers formed a loose circle around her, their once menacing stature now softened by concern they rarely allowed themselves to show. Slowly, piece by piece, the truth spilled from Liana's trembling lips. She hadn't planned to run tonight, she had planned to survive. But when her boyfriend's rage erupted once again, this time throwing her hard enough to make her knees buckle, something inside her snapped. The baby deserved more. She deserved more. The whisper he had repeated so many times, "It won't hurt," echoed in her mind like a mocking ghost. She knew if she didn't leave then, she might never leave at all. The bikers listened, stunned into silence. These were men who had seen things, done things, lived through chaos and cruelty, yet nothing prepared them for the quiet agony of her story. Ridge's jaw tightened, his heart twisting in a way he hadn't felt in years. He signaled the others, and without a word, one removed his jacket and draped it around her shoulders. Another brought water. A third cleared a space beside his bike so she could sit. As Liana rested, her fear slowly melting into fragile trust, Ridge made a decision, not one driven by impulse, but by a buried part of him that still believed in redemption. He told her she wasn't going back, not alone, not ever again to the place where she was hurt and silenced. The other bikers agreed without hesitation, united in a rare moment of purpose. They would protect her. They would give her a chance at rebuilding the life someone else tried to break. What followed was a quiet journey through winding back roads, the hum of engines forming a protective shield around her. They took her to a safe house, an old cabin the bikers themselves once used as refuge during darker times. There, for the first time in months, Liana slept in peace. Days turned into weeks, and with every sunrise she grew a little stronger. She learned to smile again, softly at first, then with the gentle warmth of someone rediscovering hope. The bikers, once feared by the town, became her unlikely guardians. Ridge, in particular, became the anchor she never expected, guiding her to doctor visits, repairing the cabin, making sure there was always food, warmth, and someone nearby if she felt afraid. He didn't try to replace the life she had lost. He simply helped her build a safer one. It became a healing for him, too, a way to mend the fractures inside his own heart. Months later, on a crisp morning when the leaves were turning gold, Liana went into labor. The bikers panicked like first-time fathers unsure of what to do, their tough exteriors cracking as they scrambled to help her through the pain. When her baby boy finally arrived, tiny, crying, perfect, something extraordinary washed over the room. Ridge stood at the door, tears hidden beneath the shadow of his bowed head, feeling as if the world had paused once again. This time, though, it paused not for fear, but for something sacred. Liana held her son close, whispering to him with a strength she once believed she had lost. She named him Hope, not because she was trying to be poetic, but because it was the one thing that had saved her life. And as she looked at the bikers surrounding her, she realized that sometimes angels came in leather jackets and carried scars instead of wings. If this story touched your heart even a little, please like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a reminder that goodness still exists in unexpected places. Before you leave, please comment below what part of this journey moved you the most.